Hello everybody, so today we're going to do a tutorial on installing sirens for Grand Theft Auto 5. This is something that's always getting asked on forums and Reddit and whatnot, and there's lots of these tutorials out there, but a lot of them, or at least the ones I've seen, contain a little bit of outdated information, so I'm just going to quickly do one now, just so people can see how I do it. I'm by no means an expert, but it works for me. Now, I should probably mention, I'm usually not the best at explaining stuff, but at least you can follow along, and I'll do my best. We'll see where we get. Anyway, so to start, you're going to want to download your siren, whichever one you've picked. For the sakes of this tutorial here, I just downloaded the Modern Siren Pack by Gravel Road Cop off of lspdfr.com. It's one of the better packs. It's the one I like. It's commonly used. It's the most downloaded one on there, so that's what we'll go with, because that's what a lot of people have been asking about. So, to begin, we're going to start by opening OpenIV or Open4 or whatever you call it. GTA 5 Windows. Okay, now, as you can see, I don't have much in here. For the sakes of this tutorial, I've done a complete fresh install. The only stuff I have on this right now is ELS and LSPDFR, and that's just to make the tutorial easier to follow rather than trying to explain what goes where without actually putting it there. So now you can just visually go along with it, and it'll actually get you where you need to go. So to begin with, you're going to want a mods folder. As you can see, I don't have one here yet, so we're just going to quickly go through how to add one. Being a fresh install, I haven't done anything in OpenIV in here yet, so if you're a complete noob, you can just follow along with this. So I want to go into my ASI manager and quickly install the ASI loader and OpenIV.asi. Now that's the one that gives us our mods folder. Close that. Now here you see, there we go, but it's empty. Now the easiest way to get what we need into that is just to go to the files that we're going to play with. So let's go to x64, audio, SFX, and the one we're looking for is resonant.rpf. We'll go in here, and now we're going to go up here and hit edit mode. Accept that warning. And now OpenIV is going to try to protect us from ourselves and wrecking stuff. It's going to offer just to copy this all the mods folder for us. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, as you can see, all these files that were within resonant.rpf are now copied over to the mods folder. So that's pretty handy. So let's get back in there. The one we want to play with today is vehicles.awc. So the next thing we're going to do is go to your desktop or somewhere that's easier for you to work with. I like using the desktop for this sort of thing. I always delete whatever I did after, just because I like to keep my desktop clean. But what you want to do is just make a new empty folder there, and then we're going to come back to OpenIV, left click vehicles.awc and export to open formats, and then let's export that into that folder we just made. Select, and there we go. That exported all these sound files. So these are all the sound files used by vehicles in GTA. So there's all sorts of stuff in here. Just squeaks that the interior makes, engine revs, kickstarting a motorbike, everything that a vehicle uses, and that's where our sirens are located as well. So next step here, let's minimize OpenIV for now. Let's go into our siren pack that we downloaded and go ahead and pick whatever siren you want to use. There's lots here. So we're going to start with the Welland Epsilon. That's the one we're going to play with first. Now, this is where a lot of the older YouTube videos get confusing, because the way these packs are built is for you to just be able to copy all these files into your new vehicle sound folder here, import it back into GTA, and go ahead and play. Now the only issue with that is they had an update last year, Grand Theft Auto did, that changed a lot of these file names. So if you copy and pasted these new ones in here, it wouldn't actually be replacing the sounds that you want to replace. it would just be sticking random files in here that the game wouldn't even read for anything. So you have to rename these. And this is where a lot of people get hung up. So we're going to quickly go through that. So we're going to replace the default police siren, which is this one right here, Siren PA20A Whale. So first we want to find which of these new sounds we want to replace that one, which I believe is this top one. No, it is not that one. There we go. So as you can see, that's obviously named something different. If we just drop that file into this folder, the game's not going to read it. So we're just going to quickly copy and paste that name into that one. So now it's exactly what we need it to be. So let's just copy and paste that file into our vehicles folder. Replace that. And there we go. So we're going to do that for each one of these that we want to use. So that's siren tone 1. The secondary tone is called siren 2. So same thing, we'll copy that and we'll find the tone we want to replace. So the default one sounds like this. Obviously replayed very fast in the game. And so we want, I believe it's this one. Yeah. So that's the one we want to rename. So we'll give that the name. There we go. Now we got 2 files. Copy and paste it over. Next one we're going to do is the warning priority tone, which is this one here. Now that one is called police_warning. Here it is. Here's the default one. So same thing, same process. We'll do that again. And actually that one we didn't even need to. So that one's already named right. So the last one, since a lot of these are just different versions of the same sound, you know, ones you're going to use other plugins like Siren Mastery to really use. So these we're actually not even going to worry about. Let's just get out of there for the sake of making this easy. Last one is the air horn, which doesn't sound like much when you do it like that, but in game it should work for us. So we are going to find the new labeling for the air horn, which is just air horn _ EQD. So copy that, paste that, renamed. There we go. Now all the files we're going to use have their proper name. So I know I already put some of these in here, but just for the sake of making sure I didn't miss anything, we'll just go ahead and paste all 4 in there. And there we go. That should have our new Whalen Epsilon siren. So now what we have to do is get this modified vehicle sound folder back into the game directory, and to do that we're going to go back into OpenIV. We can actually close both of these for now. Back in OpenIV, and we're still in our sound folder within our mods folder. So we're going to right click in any open area here. This time we're going to import open formats, and back to the same folder that we exported it into. We're now going to click import on the vehicles.oac file. We'll put that in, and that's probably not going to work because now that is too big, but for the sake of showing you how that's going to work, let's go ahead and jump in game and see how we did. And here we are. Okay, I just went ahead and edited all that out because who wants to just sit there and stare at loading screens? I forget this game's already, what, 5-6 years old, so it doesn't load quite as quick as some of the newer stuff does. So let's go ahead and see if this worked. We're actually going to spawn the police car because I think the sheriff one might use a different siren. I don't know how the default one works, but just to be sure, that's not how you do that. We're going to spawn this one. There we go. Let's see how she sounds. Don't call me a bitch. I haven't seen the default cars in a while. This thing's sweet. Alright, let's see what it sounds like. Not bad. And it actually worked. I thought that file would be too big, but yeah, seemed to work out.
The hell?
Way better than the default siren. And not a big fan of that air horn. Anyway, so if all you wanted to do is just replace that one siren, there you go. That's how you do it. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you know more about this than I do, and I did something dumb and you think people shouldn't, feel free to tell me. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this. I just know how to get it to go for me. Now, I'm also going to show you how to put different sirens in for different vehicles. This is a little more advanced. It's, you know, if you have several police departments in the game like I do, or even just want to use the default sheriff and police ones but have a different siren for each one, I'm going to show you how to do that, and that requires ELS. So let's get out of the game. So here we are where we left off. Let's go ahead and add another siren for a different vehicle, and we're going to do that and say it's a different police department that's using it. So I'm actually going to quickly add 2 vehicles into this so that I can demonstrate how to assign these sirens within ELS. So this isn't a vehicle tutorial. I'm not going to show you this. I'm just going to quickly do it and get right back to you. Okay, so I did that. Got 2 vehicles in, got ELS working. So let's add another siren. So in this example, we're going to have our LSPD units and our sheriff's units, and they're going to have 2 completely different sirens because they're 2 different departments. Why wouldn't they? So we already have our default replacement siren installed. So let's go ahead and add another one. So let's go back to our siren mods folder. Let's pick out a different one. And I like the code 3 Mastercom B. Let's go ahead and try that guy out for our sheriff units here. So we've already exported our vehicles folder. We still have that on our desktop here. We don't need to go through that. This one obviously has our other replacement siren in it, so we can just go ahead and add to this. Now, obviously, we need to change these names, not only for the same reason we did before, but we don't want to overwrite the siren that we just put in. So we're going to replace a different one. So let's go down here. And where's our sirens? Yes, here we go. So we replaced the default one, which was Siren PA20A and Siren 2. The one we're going to use next is Siren Quick 2 and Siren Whale 2. Now, by default, this is the siren that the FIB or FBI cars use. Siren Whale 1 and Quick 1, I believe, is the ambulance. For this example, we're going to use number 2. And in my main LSPDFR game, I actually have 3 different ones because I added a highway patrol unit too. So I use all of these. But for this, we're just going to use 2 for the example. That replaces the FBI sirens. That's enough rambling. Let's get to it. So I picked out the Mastercom B here. I think that's a cool sounding siren. So let's see, what files do we have to replace? So that's what the default sounds like, and that's going to be Siren 2 in this, I believe. Yep, correct. So Siren 2, we don't want to replace our other Siren 2 that we already replaced, so we're going to copy and paste just as we did before that new name on that. So now that will replace that one. Next one is Whale 2. That's what the default one sounds like, and I believe that's this. No, always get that wrong. Yeah, that one sounds way cooler. So that's what we're going to use. So that's the whale. We're going to copy that name, paste it onto there, and there we go. So we also want to replace the third tone, the priority phaser tone, whatever you want to call it. Now that's that one. But within the game, for police cars, there is only one priority tone, and every police car just shares it, even the ones that had different sirens by default. So we can't go ahead and replace this one with the other one, because that will replace the one that we already put in. So we're actually going to rename this one to the ambulance warning. I'm sure there is another way to do this. This is just what I do. It works for me. So I'm actually going to delete this one here, because we don't want to use this. Yeah, we don't want to use that one. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that. And yeah, I don't want to use that one either. Get rid of that, and that, and that. There we go. So this one here is the one we're going to replace. The ambulance one, which is somewhere. Here we go. Copy that name. Paste it there. There we go. Now we have our 3 new tones ready to go. So let's copy, paste those into our vehicles folder and replace. So now we have 2 sirens put in. But the issue is, or not the issue, but the next thing we have to tackle is, even though we have another car that we want to use that siren, it's still going to use the default one. So the way we change that is by going into ELS. So in OpenIV here, let's go to our ELS folder, pack default. There's the 2 cars I added. So the police one, it's still assigned to the default siren. We're going to leave that alone. But the sheriff one, that's what we want to mess with. So let's go right click and edit. And here is our ELS file. So we want to scroll down to the sounds, and this is where ELS tells the game which sound it wants to use for that car. So this is how it's set up for the default. So this is what we need to change to get it to recognize our other files. So all we have to do is rename this bit in here to direct it to our new file. So main tone 1, we now want to call that, and I'll write these in the description so you can just copy and paste and make it easier for yourselves. But so we want to write resident underscore vehicles siren whale 02, because remember that was the second one we did. So copy and just save us some typing, place that for main tone, but that one's not a whale tone, that one's called quick. And there we go. So let's copy. It's already copied. What am I wasting my time for? So siren tone 1 is the same thing. That's going to be our whale underscore 2. And siren tone 2 is our same thing as main tone 2. Now, siren tone 3 is that priority phaser tone. This is directing it to use that default one. And we want it to use the ambulance one, which is by default in this vehicle at least already assigned to tone 4. So what we're going to do is just copy that, replace that, and since we only have 3 tones, we're actually going to turn off tone 4 by changing allow use to false, which doesn't need to be capitalized. Actually, I'm sure it doesn't matter, but just in case, there we go. Auxiliary siren, we're going to go ahead and use the whale. And for panic mode, we'll use the phaser warning priority signal that we... There we go. One last thing I'm going to change, just because I like it personally, is where the air horn interrupts the main siren. So when you hit the horn, the siren starts over. I'm just going to change that to false, so the horn plays over the siren. That's just a personal thing. I think it's neat. Who cares? But I like it. Anyway, so that's all we need to do in here. We'll save that. And I totally missed a step earlier. Let's go ahead and import our new tones into the game directory now. So mods folder, 64, audio, SFX, resident. Here we go, vehicles. Same process. Import open formats. It's still in the same folder because this is the last one we did. Vehicles.oac, open. Okay, that's got it imported. So let's go ahead and jump in game and see how that sounds. Okay, so here we are in game. Let's go ahead and test that out. As you can see, I installed a custom vehicle here for the sake of this tutorial. Both custom vehicles I installed, and in case I didn't mention this before, credit to Brad M for these vehicle models. I used quite a few of his vehicle models actually, because he does a terrific job. Just look at this thing, that is gorgeous. So yeah, check out his stuff. So let's see how our siren got on. Aha! Now I knew this was going to happen, but I wanted to demonstrate it. Like I talked about earlier, now that sirens folder is too large. So when we go ahead and turn our siren on, it's just muted because something to do with the way the game is built. When that folder gets too big, it just mutes itself. So now I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So let's get out of the game here. Now the way you address that is you don't want to just start deleting random files out of here, because then the games are going to recognize that files are missing. It could crash, it could confuse itself, all sorts of weird crap could happen. So what we actually want to do is replace some of these sounds just with blank audio, just so that it is smaller that way, but the file is still there and the game won't crash. There's a couple tutorials out there on how to do that. Yeah, you get an audio editing program, you drag the file into it, you clear the sound, you export it back, you do that until the folder is small enough. But what I've gone ahead and done is gone through every single one of these and muted the files, and I actually uploaded those to LSPDFR as the blank audio files, just to save everyone else some time. So let's go ahead and grab those. LSPDFR audio, I just uploaded it, so it'll be at the top. If it's not anymore while you're doing this, just search my name, SnakeBin92, or Dead Air Files is what they're referred to. It's still at the top here. Let's go ahead and download this and get that in the game. There we go. Don't need that anymore. So let's go to my downloads folder. Get these. Extract. And here they are. So these are all the files that have no sound in them at all. Just to give you an example, you click them, you get nothing. So let's go back to our vehicles folder. Now let's copy and paste all these muted files into here. And what these replace, by the way, are just sounds that aren't relevant to the LSPDFR. So it was a lot of clown sounds and someone making a fart sound with their mouth and a clown horn and weird squeaky sounds and stuff that you don't really need for an LSPDFR play. It's mostly actually for GTA Online, I believe, those files. So we can go ahead and replace them without needing to worry about it. So let's paste these in here. Place the files in destination. And there we go. That should have made this vehicles folder significantly smaller. Let's get out of that. Back in OpenIV, which I conveniently left open. Let's go ahead and import this once again. Open. And let's actually keep an eye on the size as we do this, just to see the change. So 16,198, add the new one, and that dropped it down to 15,537. So we're going to have no issues with muted vehicle sounds after that. So let's jump back in game and see how we got on. And here we are in game again. So as you can see, I have one of my other replacement vehicles up here. Again, model by Brad M. Just beautiful. Look at that. I actually really like that one. I've never used that. Neat. Okay, so let's see if our sirens work this time. So this one should be the default siren we added first. Very cool. So let's see if our second siren works. Ah, I love these vehicle models. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love that siren. And another quick back-to-back so you can hear the difference. So there we go. We'll get back out of that. And there you have it, folks. That's how you add multiple sirens to GTA 5. Now, in theory, you could add 2 more, because we still have, I can even show you here, we still have our, we can mess around with our fire truck siren and even assign that to something else if we so wanted. We have siren 1, which is what the ambulance uses. We could still use siren 3. Siren 4, now I read somewhere that replacing that doesn't work. I haven't tested it myself, so you know, go ahead and try that if you want, but siren 3, 2, 1, and the default one, which is 28 whale and siren 2. That's what you have to play with. Go nuts. Do what you want. Be creative. That's why in that siren pack of Gravel Road Cop, he has so many different sirens in there that you can just pick and choose 3, 4, whatever you want to do. Download other ones. You know, lots of options. So that's how you do that. I hope this tutorial was useful. Like I said at the beginning, lots of questions on this lately, so I hope that if this helps even one person, it was worth my time making this. I've never made a tutorial before, so I kind of stumbled my way through it. If you couldn't tell, if you're watching the clock in the bottom right, you'll see a bunch of jumps and edits and cuts, and holy crap, I can't freaking do this in one go like I kind of figured I would. But either way, if I missed anything, let me know. I can add it, or any questions, ask in the comments. I'll try to get back to you, or someone else can, and you know, hopefully this gets you going and playing LSPDFR the way you want to. So good luck, take care, and have fun.